Hey, hello everybody. Thanks for joining in. We're here live once again for another segment of In the Ring with Kings Promotions and my partner Andrew Foy. And we have two very special guests, two young gentlemen who love to put on a show in front of their crowd, and they're also two very big. They have a very big following as well. Both of them have the same record, 8-0 with 3 knockouts. Let me first welcome Greg Outlaw. Greg, how's it going?
Hey, we're going good. How about yourself?
Good, my man. And then let me welcome Jonathan Rodriguez, all the way from Bethlehem, PA. How's it going, Jonathan?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good, good. So this is the Greg. You've been on Zoom before?
Yes, I've been on.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah, this is something we've been doing for a while now, and it's fun. And it's just one way to continue to keep our fighters' name and keep it relevant out there, because as you know, with the COVID-19 taking place, everything's been shut down, unfortunately. So it makes it very difficult for you guys to be able to get back in that ring again, you know. So you know, that's what we have. Andrew, join in here. Talk to us, Andrew. Let us know what's on your mind. We have a great show tonight. We have some questions for you guys. We're going to have another quiz. We haven't had one in a couple of weeks, but we're going to put you two guys to the test.
Yeah, man, the quiz tonight's going to be good. We got some questions from Phil boxing photographer Kenny Ludwig, who helped contribute, and some questions coming out of the last 2 editions of Ring Magazine. So, Greg, you're following in big footsteps, because Mike Fox has been talking a lot of trash. He won pretty big in his trivia, and so, you know, you're really carrying the torch for the Delmarva Valley here. And Jonathan, how do you think you're going to do?
Man, Mike is, let me tell you, Mike has a lot of knowledge, okay? That's why he's called a professor. I just hope I don't do as bad. I don't want to throw no shots, but I'm going to hold my own. I'm going to hold my own.
There you go. That's the deal.
Jonathan, have you been watching much boxing on YouTube during your break?
I've been watching like a couple fighters, you know, just trying to pick and choose a couple things from different fighters, you know, to add on to my craft. So
All right.
And we know that we know that you've been working out.
yeah.
Right? And Greg, you've been working out as well, right? Have you been able to hit the heavy bag, Greg?
Yeah, I got one in my garage. I got a doubling bag and a heavy bag, so I'm putting them rounds every day.
What have you been doing? You know, I imagine that both you guys can't really do your full boxing training like you would be doing. Have you picked up anything else? You know, running, any sort of plyometric training that you might not have done otherwise during this time?
I'll go first. I have weights in home. I have free weights, so I just been picking up my running more. I was planning on fighting in June, so I was already gonna have my mind in camp mode. So my weight's been lower than it was when I was in the gym a little bit. I've been doing more weights and doing my own. I'm certified in personal training, so I know a little bit about strength and conditioning. So I've been doing my own strength and conditioning and running more and hitting the bag.
What about you, Jonathan?
Well, you guys already know my dad, you know, so with that being said, I'm still doing everything I would do in a regular basis before all this is going on, you know, but we've been trying to work on technique more than anything, you know, so we could bring something new to the table, you know. Definitely started running more, and, you know, just basically doing the same thing I was doing, but a little bit more.
So your dad won't let you take a break, huh?
You know him. But it's good, you know. It'll help me out in the long run, so I can't complain.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. Mike Fox just commented saying, Outlaw and Jonathan, both my guys. You know what I mean? So,
Fox, my brother.
Mike Fox,
yeah, he is like your brother, isn't he? He's both are trained by the same trainer. I don't know if you watched the segment when we had Troy on here. When we had Troy on here with Steve Edwards. Did you get to see that one, Greg?
I saw it.
Yeah, yeah. The Troy speaks very well. It was a great segment we had. And then last week we had this guy on Monday. We had on a guy, and I gotta get this out there because I stole a line from someone's YouTube channel. They basically, it's the YouTube channel is called Joe and Joe, which is Jolene Mazzone from Main Events, and her assistant Joe. I forget Joe's last name, but they use this question at the end where they say, if there's anybody in boxing that you would want to slap, punch, or lock in the room or kick or whatever, who would it be? So I use that. And so I got some heat from her. She sent me a text saying, I can't believe you didn't give us a shout out. So today I'm giving that shout out. So I love the question. So Jolene, there you go. You got it.
But I don't understand how we can be accused of stealing a question from their show when they stole the whole idea for doing a show from us in the first place.
We've been doing this for a long time, haven't we?
We got to get an apology for that.
Tim Rawlings says, what's up, Greg? You know,
What it do? What's up, bro?
whoever Tim Rawlings is, I'm not sure.
That's my good guy.
All right, cool.
Hey, Greg, just, a lot of the people that watch this show, we do have some from the Delmarva Valley, but probably the majority of people are from Pennsylvania. Can you just give a little background about yourself for the people that, are boxing fans in Pennsylvania, but might not know you yet?
Okay, I go by Greg, Sharpshooter Outlaw. I'm one of the big ticket sellers here in the DMV area. We sell our last fight, we sold over 30,000 worth of tickets. So we're making Marshall a lot of money when it's time to open back up. I'm a college graduate with a sports management degree and a minor in business. And I'm just sharp at life, everything. I'm good at everything in life. And I'm 8-0, 3 knockouts as a professional. And I plan on keep moving up in the rankings.
And what weight do you fight at, Greg, just so everybody knows?
140.
There you go.
So everybody watch out.
And he's a huge 140. We've been trying to get Greg on our show up at the Sands Casino. He was supposed to be on, I'm trying to think, not too long ago. And then you got cut. I was like, oh my goodness. Then you're going to fight again. And then you blew your knee out. You hurt your knee. It's like, man, just can't win, man.
The casino is against me or something. It's got some voodoo against me.
Nah, it's just timing, man. That's all it is. You know what I mean? It's just that time. It wasn't meant to be at the time. You know what I mean? But
didn't your fight prior to that end in a no contest?
Oh yeah, let's not even talk about that, man.
That's another king. That's another guy, guys. That's a live casino. Yeah, one of my fights was
that was Tyrone Crawley.
Tyrone Crawley ended with a no contest. Then I wound up fighting again though. Last name Jared Harris card. So that ended with a knockout. So that was good. But before that, I kept it just. I don't know. They didn't want me to fight.
But you had a great performance on the Jared Hurd card too. Unfortunately, they waited to the end to put you on. But I'll tell you what, it kept the people in the crowd for him. But I think you scored a very early knockout. What was it?
Fourth round.
It was the fourth round?
Fourth or third round.
Third round, I thought it was, yeah. So so it was good. It was a great performance, And then we got Jonathan, who's been moving well. Jonathan, when did you turn pro?
I turned pro in, I believe it was November 16th, 2018.
Okay, so a little over a year.
Yeah.
Had 8 fights now. Right. And so we've been keeping you moving and keeping you busy. And it's kind of hard when you're moving and you're busy so much, all of a sudden you're not fighting. How do you handle that?
I know. To be honest, it's been bothering me a little bit because all the hard work I put in last camp and making weight and all that, and then to just find out the day of that it got canceled, and I was already getting used to fighting a lot, so
right.
And then just out of nowhere I'm not doing anything, so it's like it's getting to me a little bit, but we just gotta
for those who don't know, Jonathan was supposed to have his 9th fight March 14th, And that morning of March 14th, after the weigh-ins took place, you made weight, you thought you can eat, you could grub now. That morning of the 14th, we get a call from the PA Commission and said that we had to shut down the show. So Jonathan would be 9-0 right now today. Unfortunately, it didn't happen that way, but we'll get it back. We'll be back. Both of you guys, you both are young. Greg, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Yeah, you're still young, man. We got a bright future ahead of you too, you know, in more ways than one. So yeah, no, it's great. Andrew has some questions for you guys. Do you want to get into that now, Andrew, or?
Yeah, sure. I think we can.
We
All right.
putting money up on this, Andrew?
Yeah, $100 for the winner.
Oh man.
Oh man.
$100 from Marshall for the winner.
You gotta be sharp. You gotta be sharp.
So, all right. So the way we do it is,
Stimulus check. I'll send it to you when I get my stimulus check.
okay. All right. So the way we do this is the questions are addressed to each of you individually. You get about 30 seconds to answer. No looking on your phone. Getting your mom or your dad to help you on the side. That is immediate disqualification.
This is based on honesty. And we know that there's a lot of honesty in boxing.
That's right.
Definitely.
All right. So this first question will be for Greg.
Oh man, why?
So Paulie Malignaggi, who commentates now for Showtime, has 2 world titles. Who did he lose his first professional fight to?
Can I pass it?
No. You can just defer it and say you don't know the answer.
I'm gonna guess somebody. It's Sean Paul.
I could steal.
You said Sean Porter?
Yeah.
No, that's wrong.
I could steal.
Not, but you can give it an answer if you want to.
I'm not 100% sure, but you know, I watch him a lot from my island. Miguel Cotto, was it?
That's right. That's right,
Watch
man.
him a lot, so I should know.
Okay.
All right. So this one's for you, Jonathan. Where did Muhammad Ali grow up?
You got me on this one. I don't. Yeah, I don't got the answer for this one.
You have an answer
All
on
right.
that, Greg?
Nah.
I know that one. Ali. I know that. Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky.
All right. So
That's
So
no Ali.
guys
so
both-
we're even.
both got each other's question. All right. So Greg, since you got that one on Louisville, Kentucky, there's a famous incident when Muhammad Ali was 12 years old, which is what it reportedly, he says, got him into a boxing gym to learn to fight. What was the incident?
Hey, what'd he say? He said you cut off. He said Muhammad Ali got a what?
Yeah, so there's a famous incident about Muhammad Ali growing up at 12 years old, which according to him is what got him into a boxing gym to learn how to fight. What's the incident?
I don't know.
Think about something that might have happened to you when you were 12.
Got beat up by the neighborhood gang or something.
No, it didn't involve that though, but
Yeah, his bike stole.
someone stole his bike.
That actually happened to me in real life.
Yeah, see, that's why I said
That actually happened to me in real life.
it happens to a whole lot of us.
All right, this one's for you, Jonathan. So,
I ain't going.
who did Manny Pacquiao? Who gave Manny Pacquiao his last 2 defeats?
His last 2 defeats. I know Marquez is one of them. Marquez and Floyd. Was it?
No.
So actually, his last two defeats, his last
Whoa, did I guess?
no,
The
that's the rules,
out.
man.
we don't play steals in this one, but it was Jeff Horn,
Jeff Horn, yeah.
and
Floyd Mayweather.
Mayweather.
So Jonathan, you had one of them, but not the other.
Can it count as half a point?
No, sir.
Now, we'll see how things shake out here as the questions go on. So, all right, Greg, for you.
It's still tied up.
I don't know, you give him the easier questions, though.
That's what everybody says who doesn't get the questions right.
He's younger than you.
Yeah, you friend with Mike Fox. You should know.
Nah, Mike Fox is the professor, so he ain't been teaching us recently, so it's really Mike Fox.
Nah.
Oh, Mike, they're on your case, Mike.
All right, Greg, this one's for you. So when Tyson Fury fought his first fight in the United States, it was at Madison Square Garden. Who was the fighter he fought? This fighter was from Philadelphia, and he knocked Fury down early in the fight. Fury got up and ended up stopping him in the middle rounds.
You from Philadelphia?
That's an easy one.
I only have right now from Philadelphia, Brian Jennings.
This guy was a cruiserweight,
Is it Brian Jennings?
and he went on to be a ring announcer now. Steve.
Oh, no. Oh, no. He's a ring announcer.
Steve Cunningham.
Oh,
He went on to become a commentator,
you're not from Philly.
and that's where he trains from.
All right, man, Kenny's questions aren't going over well. All right, so this one's for you, Jonathan. Who gave Sugar Ray Leonard his last defeat?
Wasn't it another one from the island? Wasn't it Camacho?
That's correct.
Okay, you got one. You got a point. You're up now, Jonathan.
Jonathan, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. We got 1-1.
You know, I gotta study my fighters. That's all.
That's good.
All right, Greg. Who gave Sugar Ray Leonard his first and only draw?
It's first and only draw.
It was a rematch of an earlier fight.
Come on, Greg. That's an easy one, man.
Man, come on, you got this.
Duran.
Tommy Hearns,
Tommy Hearns.
Come on, Fox, get him.
the hitman.
So I gotta put a plug in, guys. So for people watching, this was the Ring magazine. I think they sent it out 2 editions ago. It's called Four Kings, and it's basically all about these 4 guys who fought each other a bunch of times in the 80s: Leonard, Hagler, Hearns, and Duran. And it's an awesome edition, and it really reads more like a book than a normal edition of Ring magazine, but it's really good. You guys should get it.
No, Greg, everybody's on your case. They're like, come on, nephew. Come on.
All right. So Jonathan, we got 2 more for you and 1 more for Greg.
Oh, so
All right. So in another recent Ring magazine, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez was on the cover. Who handed him his first defeat?
The Asian guy. Damn, I got his name. Hold on. Damn, I know his name, but it's not.
No, that's a tough one to remember his name.
Yeah, this guy. No, he's the Asian dude. Damn, I can't come up with his name.
Well, since there's more than one Asian guy that fights, I can't give it to you.
Hold on.
Srisikat Surangvise.
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
is tough.
I wasn't gonna be able to
That
say
must be a Kenny Ludwig question.
No, I made that one.
Uh,
All right, Greg. So you got to get this question to tie it up here and have a chance of sending it to overtime. So we'll go back to the Four Kings edition of Ring Magazine here. Who won the first fight between Leonard and Duran? How was it won and what round?
Duran won.
in what round?
Went the distance.
Good job.
You want to give him that one?
Yeah.
15 round split decision. All right.
Oh, you want to know how many rounds it was? Yeah.
Nah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
So we have a tie, huh?
We got tied.
We got a tie. Well, Jonathan has one more.
Oh, they cheating now. For real.
So Jonathan, after that fight, where Roberto Duran came up in weight, gave Sugar Ray his first loss, they rematched. And in the rematch, who won and how? It was a famous incident in boxing history.
It was Sugar Ray won by stoppage. Durant wanted to stop the fight. He said no mas.
That's right. All right. That's good, Jonathan.
Good job, bro.
All right. What's Mike Fox think about the performance tonight? I'm
Yo,
gonna
Marshall,
get him to weigh in. He's pretty critical.
Check ready.
What did Mike say?
Easier. Mike hasn't chimed in recently.
I feel like that was an easy question I was gave him at the end. No Moss. Everybody knows Duran ain't want to get up on the stool.
No mobs, right? Yeah, right.
Moss.
It actually was not him getting up off the stool. He quit as the round was going.
Yeah, he just walked away. He turned his back on him.
Yep.
That would have
All
been
right.
bad if I didn't know that.
Mike ain't enough. Who did Mike go? Mike went against what's her name? Alicia.
Alicia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Mike
yeah.
won in a landslide.
like 5-1 or something. Or
Mike went up against a female, right?
That doesn't mean nothing. He was asking him female questions. She was getting around. I was watching female boxing.
No, he's just got to do more. He quit mid combination. Mike said that he quit mid combination.
Yeah, he turned his back.
Talking about
Mike
Durant.
Fox is the reason why I tore my meniscus, by the way.
Oh, it's his fault?
Yeah, he threw water. We literally spawned because he was on the same card. Remember, September the 14th. I
Right.
was supposed to fight Roy McGill, and he was fighting a pinky guy, I think. And then we were sparring, and we got two coaches. So my coach Will was coaching him. Coach Fox was coaching me. And then Coach Fox, he threw some water in the corner where I was at, and I was throwing a punch at Mike. Mike moved and put it in a snapped.
Right.
That's what happened.
I just got in trouble from Greg's manager. She said women know boxing too. Hold on here, Marshall. I didn't say you don't. I just said Mike went up against a female. That's all.
But you asked a lot of female questions that was
Mike had the height. Mike had the height and reach advantage.
Mike 6'4", baby.
Mike has the height and reach advantage in every fight.
Every single fight.
I'm telling you.
So let me ask each of you guys. I know you're still relatively early in your career. You're kind of climbing the ladder, and you know you'll take the fight that are offered for the most part. But is there, with you, Jonathan, and then go to Greg, is there anybody in particular locally that you would like to fight soon, maybe to avenge an amateur defeat or somebody that you were a rival with in the amateurs? Is there anybody that you'd like to fight that's kind of local? Not a disrespect thing, but just you'd like to fight that person. Is there anybody?
Honestly, I'm here, I get ready for the fights and I fight. I don't have my eye on anybody right now. I'll just fight whoever my promoter Marshall wants me to fight. That's who I fight as of now. I don't have nobody in mind, but other than the people that Marshall wants me to fight. So
What about you, Greg?
Um, we all spar each other, so I'm cool with everybody. But if I did have to fight somebody, it'd be Mike Fox because they say he's the team captain, and then they say I'm not the team captain. So if it had to be somebody, I like to fight Mike Fox,
I love it.
and he has to make 140. So if he can't make 140, I'm deducting from his purse. He has to be at that
There
weight
you go.
class.
There you go.
Mike-
You heard that, Mike.
Mike, it has to be Mike, straight up. It has to be Mike.
Let me ask you
Fox-
something, Greg.
Fox can't coach nobody. It has to be we have our own corners, and then Fox be in the stands, and we both just pay him. That's it. He win-win for him. That'd be Mike.
Greg, how many rounds do you think you've sparred with Mike?
Total.
Yeah.
Good goodness. We can't call that because his Ergashev fight. We sparred a lot before. It's a lot. We spar a lot. Like sometimes we practice a lot. 12.
Over 100 rounds, you'd say?
Well over 100.
Right. Jonathan, who's the biggest name fighter that you've sparred with so far?
As of now, I sparred Dylan Price, but like biggest name, it might not have been a serious sparring because the weight difference.
Right.
Was Centron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Sparring
that
Dylan
has to
Price
be
is
Centron.
good. Sparring with Dylan Price is great work.
Yeah.
So let me ask both of you.
I also sparred Ronald.
Especially since you said it, Greg. I know you were only messing around, but how would you feel if you had to go and fight somebody that you've sparred 100 rounds with?
If when it's time to fight, it doesn't matter. You're trying to take the food out of my mouth. I look at it, so I feel like I might know a little bit, so I kind of know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? It might be a little easier too. Like what he's gonna bring. This guy. Stuff like that. So I think it'd be more of an advantage standpoint. And then
And I only asked that question because when we had Travis and Chris Ariola on, those two have sparred over 100 rounds easy. And so Travis said to me when we were in camp, he said, "Dad, if he's training his ass off, it's going to be an easier fight for me." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, if he trains his ass off, he's going to be thinner, lighter, and it's going to be much easier for me. Trust me. I was like, "Well, why?" He says, "Because when he's heavier and he didn't train as hard, he gave more effort." So I say all that only because he knew his sparring partner. He knew him inside and out. You know what I mean? He knew his weaknesses and his strengths. So I think that's what happens when you have two guys that have sparred a whole lot of rounds getting ready to fight each other. But I also think it makes for great fights. So that's interesting.
it definitely. That's an interesting point. Yeah.
So Greg, let me ask you this: who was your toughest fight?
My toughest one, I would probably say, I think probably the first Bowie State one, maybe, because I just was so anxious and wanted to put on the show in front of my home school, and I made it tough trying to do too much because I wanted to impress everybody. We sold the arena out and all that, and but you live and learn.
And who was that fight against?
I don't know.
Your mother says she's your toughest fight.
Yeah, my mother.
But you don't remember the opponent's name?
No, I'm not sure. I forgot his name.
I thought even early in your career when you fought on my card against Kayshawn Hutchinson.
That was a good one. That was my second fight. Yeah.
Both of you were 2. Oh, you were 1-0 and he was
2-0.
And he was 2-0, right? Yeah. So I thought that was a tough fight, even though you had won the fight. But I just thought stylistically, him being a southpaw, you being a southpaw. I think it was challenging, you know.
Honestly, I switched southpaw because he's the reason why I wear big cups now, because
Oh,
people
yeah.
people think at the end he didn't hit me low, but he hit me where like right by my belt line, and I had on like a amateur style cup because it was more comfortable. And at the end of the first round, people thought I was just like squatting down to like celebrate, like to be flashy, but I was hurt a little bit. Thank God I hurt at 10 seconds.
Right.
And I got my point. I told I ain't never wearing this cup again. And I switched up southpaw, so I want to get hit with that straight left hand no more.
It was a good fight. It was a real good fight.
Yeah.
Jonathan, who would you say was your toughest fight?
For me, I look at every fight as as my toughest fight, because it always gives me something to improve up on. Like, I never overlook no opponent, but if I had to choose, I'd probably say Hugo Rodriguez. Like, we beat him, we dropped him, but he's tough. He came to fight. He even when he got back up, he didn't go backwards or anything. He still tried to keep fighting on top of that. So I'll probably say him.
Okay.
That was a good fight. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was. What do you have for him, Andrew?
I don't know. I put all my effort into these questions tonight.
Do the fans ask questions or just us? Or just you guys?
I'm looking for
Anybody can ask questions.
You know,
The fans are kind of commenting, but nobody's asked any questions yet. So if you're watching out there, please ask any questions if you have them.
Chi said you fought quad.
She's talking about
The first Bowie fight.
Nah, that was my second one.
Okay.
That was no hard fight. I mean, not like that. He's a good fighter, but
Mike just clarified it too that you didn't.
no, that was my second Bowie fight. They both
Right.
wrong.
Right. No, he was saying that you didn't fight.
Oh, you think they did?
your
Oh,
first
yeah.
fight. You know what I mean, yeah, no, it's great. Jonathan, where was your pro debut at?
At the Sands. That's
That's
when I
right.
fought Steven Lopez.
Oh, okay, that's right. You fought
That was
Stephen
my
Lopez.
first cut.
That's right. You were trying too hard. I remember that fight.
Yeah, I mean, I was hyped going in there. It was a sold out arena, my first professional fight, and I was co-main event at that. So it was like I was anxious to just get it done. So I tried to get him out of the first round. That's the mistake I made. I looked for the knockout.
Right.
That's why I didn't get it.
And I know you had to feel the same way, Greg, when you fight at home. You probably feel that same way every time, but especially your first fight or so. I mean, it had to be nerve-wracking. You know what I mean? You sell all those tickets, you got all those people there.
Yeah, it was a little bit. I think honestly, the first Bowie fight was probably the most nerve-wracking because I was at home, so it was more of a burden. Like, I'm at home. This is where I went to school at. My stomping grounds. I love this place, so I had everybody, not my fans, a Bowie. I wanted to just do too much, but now it's whatever. Now I like.
No, we can't wait till it opens back up to get both of you guys back in there again. You know what I mean? I know both of you are anxious and you're ready to fight. We do have a question here. Mike Fox says, Greg, what's it like to have a mentor like me training with you?
To be honest, it's amazing. Mike and Tez, we all like a family, so we all like listen to each other when we spawn or when we doing something. We compete a lot. I don't like losing to him or nothing. So like whether we racing or hitting the bag or whatever, we all coach each other. So Mike, 20 plus fights. He done been on Showtime. He done fought some big names. Debatable losses, debatable laws. So I learned a lot from him. One time I'm sparring, he told me something, and after I did it, I listen. You ask Troy, you ask Coach Fox. I listen when I'm sparring. I'll try because I don't want to hear his mouth. But Mike said something, I did it. And I thought something like, he's so smart. Like, why didn't I think of that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like Mike Fox is definitely. I learned a lot from him.
No, it's good, and I personally think it's great because I always use this phrase: "Iron sharpens iron," and I think when you're in a gym with other very good competitive fighters like Tez and Mike, it makes everybody better. You know what I mean? I think it really does, and you feed off of each other. Somebody did ask a question here named Brittany. She said, "What do you see for boxing in the near future with COVID? Are people still watching others in the industry for potential matches. I can answer part of that. I do think that people are always watching other people for potential matches. In our business, Brittany, we always, even me as a promoter, I'm always looking for someone else that can match up good against Greg or match up good against Jonathan. Our job is to build our fighter, not where they're walking over another fighter, but where they learn and they grow from that fight. And that's our job as a promoter. So we're always looking for other fighters. I'll let you guys talk about what do you see boxing in the near future with COVID-19 going on.
You want to go first, Jonathan? You want me to go first?
Go ahead, go ahead.
It don't matter.
I feel like this COVID has put a lot of things into perspective. Like, you never know the next wave. You always have to innovate or do something different. So if it had to be a virtual fight where like there's no people in the stands, like UFC people doing, whatever, as long as we sell in some type of way so that like everybody can make money, some type of link or something. I feel like it's always got to elevate and keep going as technology, as your time changes, because you never know, something else is going to happen again, some type of pandemic or something. You never know, so you have to stay ready. Is my motto. So you don't got to get ready. So just keep always trying to get better.
So this also prepares a boxer. This is why I always say boxing and life go hand in hand. This almost prepares a boxer in the same sense when the first time you get cut in a fight. You're like, "Ooh, how do I handle this?" You know what I mean? Or the first time you might get dropped or whatever the case may be, you're like, "How do I handle this?" So we know as a people when that time comes around again, I think we know how to handle it a little bit better. You know, if COVID-19 or some other pandemic hits us, you know, at least I would hope so. Jonathan, what do you say about that? How do we deal with this?
I agree with Greg. You know, it's gonna be a little different. I feel though, as like when we get back up and everything, we the first couple months of everything being back up, I feel like the crowd is not gonna be as much as it was before. You know, people are still being scared of going to places with crowded, people and all that. But I do feel like I'll be normal, you know, just another fight. Like I wouldn't see any difference. You know what I'm saying? Like for
You
me,
guys
like
don't think
myself.
that the crowd feeds you, like just gets you
It
pumped
does.
up?
Yeah, definitely. That's what gets me going every fight.
So what happens when that crowd's not there?
Well, it's my job. You know, it's my job to go out there and do what I do, whether we have a crowd or not. It's gonna be the same outcome. You know, the hype won't be there, but it's my job to go out there and do what I got to do to get the job done. So
Right.
it
I-
won't
I-
make a difference to me.
Right. What do you think, Greg? As far as fighting in a crowd or without a crowd?
Yeah, my fans are definitely getting me hyped, but I feel like without the crowd, it is to be a sparring. It might even be a little easier to do without a sparring match. I feel like the crowd is there to kind of push you through if you and going through a rough time. But I study a lot of guys. Like I don't know if you know who David Goggins is. He's like probably the most mentally strongest, toughest guy in the world to me. So
Right.
I try to put myself through like vigorous training, like running 12 miles and up hills and then heat and stuff. So in my mind, I'm saying this 12th round, or I don't fight 12 yet, but I'm fighting this 12th round. You need to push through it, or he's winning a fight. I sprint out, I sprint home. So I feel like I already trained myself to kind of get through whatever it is mentally. Because a lot of this is more
Right.
mental. I'm gonna be physically ready. I just need to be mentally ready.
That's good.
No,
That's real good.
I have a question for both of you guys, and I want you to answer it honestly because there's not an answer that we're looking for. But Marshall and I have been engaging a lot with people in the industry about ways to put on shows without crowds, because the truth is it doesn't look like there's going to be crowds back in Pennsylvania anytime soon, and probably Maryland is in a similar boat with sports. But you know, one of the things that I've talked about with some people is, you know, one, do you think that your fans that buy tickets from you would purchase a streaming event if it was a pay-per-view? And at what price do you think what would be the price point, something like that? That's the first part of the question. The second part is, given that obviously those sort of purchases are not won't be the equivalent of ticket sale prices, would you guys be willing to fight for less money if you knew that the revenue potential was less and the risk was higher? And there's not a right answer to this. I'm very curious to see how you guys would feel about it, because you still have to go in the ring and fight the same, no matter what.
I go first again. I feel like my fans are amazing. So shout out my mom. Okay, about maybe like 30 to 40% of ticket sales is maybe me, but like 60 to 70 is definitely my mom's sales. So I don't know if she's like
60 to 70. See,
okay.
I was told more like 90% is her.
Yeah, okay, the last,
10% you.
okay, maybe 80, 70, 80, 90 sometimes. Okay. She definitely gets the job done. Shout out to her, Big C. But
For real.
I don't know if she's like holding it for hostage. She like making them buy them or whatever. But my fans, my supporters, they amazing. So they help me. I feel like they're gonna buy whatever. They buy the tickets, and then I think they buy more than one just so we can have the rating so everybody can, you know. And as far as the part two, I feel like we're putting our life on the line. So I feel like we should still it's a high risk, you know, it's high risk, high reward. We not a lot of people, boxers don't have jobs. So I feel like this is how we feed our family. So we putting our life on the line. I feel like we should get rewarded. But I do want everybody to eat together, you know.
But so you majored in what? Business and management?
Sports management, huh?
All right. So if you were to do some sort of pay-per-view or live streaming event where the cost of the purchases was maybe $5, $10, $15, for a promoter standpoint, we really have to sell, 10,000 purchases to even start to approach what the revenue would be for a live gate. So the chances of that happening are not that high. So given that the revenue would be less, and again, there's no right answer, and it's a question of are these dark events really feasible for people in regional shows? Knowing that the income would be less, would you be willing to fight for less, or would you just say no? At a certain point, it's not worth it.
You want me to answer it, Jonathan?
You first, and then Jonathan.
I just feel like we all in this together. So I feel like we can always talk and negotiate numbers, and we want everybody, like I said, we want everybody to eat is the motto, everybody to succeed. So I feel like as long as you got my best interest at heart, and we want to come on the other side of this, so we're gonna continue to fight and get back to normal. We can definitely negotiate, talk numbers for sure. So we all can benefit from it.
What do you think, Jonathan?
Well, I agree with him. Like I'll take a fight depending on how much less we're talking about. But at the same time too, like I want to fight. So like I'll fight even if we get paid less. And going back to the other question about the fans buying pay-per-views and stuff, I do believe my fans will come out and purchase the pay-per-view and stuff. And like he said, he gotta, like, with the ticket sales, most of it is his mom. Like, not most of it, everything goes up. My dad does everything. My mom keeps track of everything. So I just train, but I do believe like my fans will come out and buy pay-per-views. And I'll go to my school too, and people there to also buy the pay-per-views and stuff. So yeah.
Well, and the reason Andrew asked that question, because there's been talks about,
I can't hear you, Marshall.
the reason why Andrew asked that question is because there's been talks about
Can't hear you.
us trying to do a pay-per-view event. And you can hear me, right, Greg?
I can hear you, yes, sir.
It must be your mic, Jonathan. About us doing a pay-per-view event. But you have to be
You're breaking up.
very smart about it. But so I don't know if I'm not breaking up for you guys, right?
No, yeah, you.
So it was just, that must be your phone, Jonathan. You gotta get a better phone.
Yeah, you got that.
You gotta get an Android instead of an iPhone.
No, you have to be an iPhone instead of an Android.
But so we're looking into that, and that being said, you have to make sure from a business standpoint you put on fighters that are also going to draw, because we know without a shadow of a doubt the two guys we're talking to now tonight are drawing machines in Bethlehem and DC, Maryland area.
I'm
We're
on the
everywhere.
computer.
But what's nice about it is that if we took a show on the road somewhere, you guys can still draw and on those terms because people will come out to support you. People will buy a fight to support you. You know.
For sure. For sure.
Mike Fox says Dream Team is all iPhones.
For sure. The core.
So
That's a big word.
I don't know. I think that just about wraps it up. We're running out of time here, Andrew.
Yeah. No, there's a good question from Troy Fox, and I think we'll end with this one and both guys have a chance to answer it. So, one of the options right now for our fighters, especially up and coming guys like you, is the possibility of being on television and getting a fight, an even matchup on something like a Showbox event or whatnot. And Troy asks, if you had to pick a quality Showbox opponent, who would it be? Or do
Great question.
do you know enough of your potential opponents yet to answer that, or not really? And so I'll give it to Greg first and then Jonathan.
Great question.
It's a guy named Michael Williams. I think they was saying something about. I think it's like 10-0. But I feel like me and my team feels like whoever it is, as long as we got the proper, as long as we can train for, we got the tools and the drive and the will to win. So it don't really, you know what I'm saying, as long as we ready, as long as we train, as long as we could train, like as long as COVID doesn't stop nothing, we train and we a fight.
Right. And both of you are at that level now of a Showbox caliber fight. Follow me? So that's interesting.
What about you, Jonathan? Any thoughts on that?
I think it's missing. I'm not sure if it's missing.
Jonathan must not be hearing it.
I think Pennsylvania got that bad Wi-Fi.
Oh shit.
I think,
I can't hear anything, but
did you look? No, and his mic's not showing that it's off.
I did already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
now for a fight like that, like I said before, I'll just have Marshall put the opponent in for me, and I'll go from there. Like whatever Marshall wants, that's what I'm gonna do.
What about chopped liver? Forget what Andrew thinks. All about Marshall?
Yeah, Andrew too. They know that Marshall's the man. That's why.
That's true.
All right. Well, look, hey guys, seriously, it's been a pleasure.
My internet's acting
Both
up.
of you guys had some serious support tonight too, because our numbers were pretty high. So just goes to show that you guys definitely get the love from people. So hey, look, thanks again. Keep training. I'll be in touch, hopefully sooner than later.
Marshall, stay on. I want to discuss one thing with you with Jonathan and Greg sign out.
Okay.
Live.
All right, guys. All you gotta do is hit leave meeting. You know how to do it. Greg, thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Jonathan, you owe me money, bro.
Yeah. You can check out then, Jonathan. Just hit leave room. You got it. Thanks for being on. Yeah, Andrew.
So, it was interesting.
All right, bro.
Hey, Jonathan, you can sign off if you want. All right. So, the day after Rick Glazer was on this week and he gave his opinions on PBC, which he says are the truth. And I just want to point out that it's his opinion of the truth. But the next day, we got the announcement, and Rick actually put it on his Twitter that Errol Spence would be fighting Danny Garcia in September. And that looks like that's true, and that's a fight that's going to happen. What are your thoughts on that fight? That's a pretty high-level fight to be talking about without doing a crowd.
Danny and Spence. That's if it happens. I don't know if it's really going to happen. I still don't believe it. But I like the fight. Of course, I'm a Danny Garcia fan because I know him personally, but I'm also an Errol Spence fan. But from a boxing analyst, I'd have to go with Errol Spence on his output. He's very busy. Not just that, he can punch, and so I'd have to go with Errol Spence. I really
Do you
would.
think it would be an
But Danny's in the fight all the way to the end because he got that nasty left hook.
Do you think it would be an easier fight or a harder fight than his fight with Porter?
Just it would be just as hard but different. You know what I mean? Because the fight with Porter was one where he had to be real busy. You know, so this would be definitely a different kind of fight.
I mean, I think that obviously Danny Garcia is a great fighter and he would be a tough opponent for anybody. But I think his style favors Spence's strengths more, and this would be a bit easier fight than the Porter fight was because of Danny's style. And I think Spence is a bigger fighter than Danny. And so if it's, if they're boxing each other, I think Danny's going to have a hard time. He's going to have a hard time winning rounds with that. I don't see Danny getting stopped, but I don't think he would be able to knock Spence out, and vice versa. So I see it going the distance, and I see Spence, winning the fight, unanimous decision.
Yeah, I can see Spence winning the fight, but I think I think Danny's always had a puncher's chance, And Danny's, I saw a thing on talking about Danny today, where if you look at it, Danny's 2 losses. He's only got 2 losses.
Right.
Look at who he's fought. He's fought a lot of tough fighters, and his 2 losses were both very close fights, where some people could have said Danny won the fight. So that being said, Danny knows how to win, so it makes for a great fight. It really does. I can see Errol Spence out hustling in him, just being the busier fighter over 12 rounds. But it would be a very interesting fight because Danny knows how to win. That's the one thing about Danny. He knows how to win. You got to look at that. And I think he's proven it over and over again. And even when he lost to Thurman, he came back. That fight was a very close fight.
Yeah, agree. Well, at least that's something in boxing that we could talk about tonight, because we haven't had much over the last couple months.
About it.
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, look, hey, it was a good night. Numbers were up. It was great having those 2 young men on the card on the Tonight Show. They both spoke well, and they both believe in their coaches, which is even better yet. And I can't wait to put them both back in the ring. I love to get both of them on the same show.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
All right. Hey, have a good night, Andrew. Once again, thanks, guys, for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. See you Monday.
Who's our guest on Monday?
Lando Rosa.
We forgot to mention that.
I think I ended the meeting by accident.
All right. No, it's still live.
Oh, is it?
We're good. Yep.
All right. So yeah, we have Lando Rosa, the Don of Philly boxing, with us.
Down to Philly boxing. Sounds great.
Should
All
be a
right,
fun
guys.
show.
See you.
See ya.